Hello, my name is Jared Rivers, and we're going to be looking at quick service restaurants in the year 2022 and which one to invest into or which three to invest into in my 2.3 project trend analysis. Now, the restaurants we're going to be looking at, they're split into two categories, top five, bottom five. These are the top five and bottom five publicly traded companies that have been listed by Quick Service Restaurants, which is a magazine that is published. Now, these are not the top bottom five. These are the not top and these are the not bottom five overall because the overall ones are some of them are publicly traded. So we're kind of mixing and matching here. This is going to still give you a good overview of what's going on, and hopefully by the end of it, some pretty solid suggestions on who to invest into. Now, why quick service? Quick service is continuously growing. Customers are getting a shorter attention span. They want something fast, they want something quick, and they want something cheap. With inflation prices going all over the place, especially within consumers' lives, quick service is a very safe place for them. It's comfort food. It's easy for them to go back into, get what they know is going to be like at least food for a decent price and can walk out. I don't know if satisfied is the word. Filled with food. There we go. So, some stats to go along with that. Digital order growth over a period of time is 64%. It is massive. Everyone is ordering digitally. They're off of their phones. They're off the website. They're off their phones in terms of calling in. It is quick, easy, two presses of a button. Once you have your favorite order loaded in, boom, 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 done. In your house within 20 minutes. You don't have to leave your couch. It's a great time. Now, out of the orders this past year, around 62% of them were a quick service restaurant order, and this is once a week too. So, out of the just plethora of orders being placed every single day and every single year, once a week, someone orders quick service. I'm guilty of this. I order Chipotle at once a week. It's fantastic. Nowhere near me as a Chipotle that's actually like reasonable to get into, so it's just easier to get it delivered to me. So, and 62% of consumers order delivery in once a week. Again, I'm very guilty of this. It's what happens. People are still COVID wary with the Omicron variant. It's probably not going to go away, but in Florida, it's not as strict. But rest of the country, very strict. We're making it work, figuring it out. Now, moving on to the actual restaurants. Starting off with McDonald's. McDonald's is the forefront. It is the big contender. It is chugging along. It's never going to lose steam unless some big scandal happens. But again, it's McDonald's. It is the household names of household names. Everyone loves McDonald's, even if you hate fast food. You have something there, and you're like, oh, okay, the French fries at least, or McFlurries. Everyone's been there at least once. It's a staple within American culture. It's never gonna leave. Despite 2020 being the year that it was, McDonald's still has an average year-over-year growth of 104%. That is crazy. They're doing so great. And to combat this new inflation of beef prices, so beef prices for a head of cattle, it's going to be a lot of money, around $2,000. That is unheard of within the beef or restaurant industry in general. This is unprecedented territory. So a company primarily known as the hamburger place is going to have to shift, and they're shifting towards Beyond Meat and highlighting it. So their marketing machine is going to go and make Beyond Meat the greatest thing in the world this next year. And they're going to be good at it. McDonald's has a track record of fantastic ads, fantastic marketing, getting people in. This is going to be a company that's going to be interesting to watch because if they can get consumers on board with Beyond Meat, then anyone else can. They're going to follow suit and kind of see it in the rest of the world, see it in the rest of the industry, and start ordering it. So McDonald's, great company to invest in and see what happens. Starbucks, one of the best companies right now because they don't have any meat products. They are also affected by inflation prices, but not nearly as not nearly enough as almost everybody else on this list because, again, lack of beef. They don't need it. There you have a 108% year-over-year average growth. We're opening nearly 2,000 stores, but probably 2025. That's their goal. Running out of time here. All right. So we just passed Wendy's. Wendy's beef prices probably going to want to stay away from them. Really great year-over-year growth, but still, just that beef is going to be kind of tough to deal with. Domino's, fantastic year-over-year growth, average year-over-year growth. Pizza Company, they're not really dealing with a lot of overhead of beef, really small footprints. But one of the current directors overseeing their expansion in Japan wants to create larger dining areas in Japan to create something super interesting over there. They're expanding largely over there. The only main issue is kind of their geographical standpoint with like tsunamis and natural disasters that might affect it. Will you work? Yes, Del Taco. These are the bottom 5. So Del Taco, averaged 102 year-over-year growth, not as prevalent as the other ones. They're expanding into more states. They're kind of a lesser known big chain restaurant, well, franchise restaurant, but they're trying. They're getting there. They're expanding a little bit more, and it should be interesting to see what happens. Noodles and Company. This is a up-and-coming restaurant. This is fast, big portions of food, not really relying on beef, and plans on hitting around 1,500 units soon. This is a company to look out for, even though they're on the bottom. I still think this is going to be a fascinating one to watch. El Pollo Loco, kind of the same thing. Localized company, still not as well known as a Taco Bell or Chipotle, but has a pretty good following. They're expanding more into more states, not looking overseas, but they're going to be running into that beef price increase too, even though chicken's in their name. People are still going to want beef tacos. They could really lean into the chicken and help migrate people that would order steak and beef tacos over to that. And hopefully that will help with that. Wingstop. Whoa, Wingstop has had a massive growth. Over 2020, people started ordering more and more wings all the time. We saw companies that normally didn't do wings shift to doing wings. We saw ridiculous things happen, but we're also seeing an influx of chicken. So an influx of chicken prices rising, but not as much as beef. So chicken's going to be the more viable option if we're going a primary meat restaurant like a McDonald's, which is known for beef. Wingstop is going to be a fascinating one to watch to see how they start expanding, especially into China, and see what happens there. Papa John's, bottom rung pizza place, but still good name, strong foundation with a 113% average year-over-year growth. It's going to be interesting watching how pizza restaurants combat, again, that constant rise of inflation. Plans on opening over 1,000 stores in China. There's a lot of play in China. And just the foreign market in general. People are expanding outside of the US because, quite frankly, it's been oversaturated here. They're trying new places, and it's going to be interesting to see where these chains go when they expand out there. Finally, what to choose? I would pick McDonald's. It's a stable company. It's not risky. It's going to just kind of chug along. We're probably going to see a hit when the market starts feeling the effects of the beef increase. So if you really wanted to be interesting, smart about it, you could wait until that hits and then start scooping up stock within McDonald's. Starbucks is Starbucks. Everyone's going to continuously love Starbucks. It is its own. It's changed the vocabulary of how you order coffee. It is its own thing. It is not really going to feel the effects of this big beef inflation. So this is a good stable one to enjoy. Wingstop is the last one, expanding into China. Chicken, primarily not beef, obviously Wingstop. This one is going to be really hit or miss, but it's going to be, I think, a fascinating one to watch and hopefully jump in on when their stock dips, when the inflation hits. There you go.